Hello, we are Team 15, UCO students doing the Home Activity Monitoring System project for our System Engineering class. The objective for our project is to create a technology solution that will enable a call handler to be able to combine the information received verbally with data from health and environmental monitoring in order to make informed decisions about the type of intervention required. Our client for this project is the Kent County Council. Also, we have been working closely with Paul Thomas, who is an enterprise architect at Microsoft. Mr. Thomas has represented our client and also provided us with invaluable guidance throughout the process. Finally, we have been working closely with Centropos, a company that provides telecare services to over 125,000 people in the UK. Today, people live longer than ever before, and more people want to have the freedom to live longer independently in their own homes. Telecare services use technology to help elderly people live independently for longer, so a person can avoid a hospital or moving into a residential care home. The choice of technology used in telecare is based on the needs of an individual and is tailored to offer the best support in the particular circumstances. The core component of the system is usually a personal alarm device worn by the user, which allows them to manually trigger an alert with a guarantee to receive an immediate response 24 hours a day. Now I'd like to tell you a story. Let me introduce you to Dorothy. Dorothy is in her late 70s, lives in her own house in Kent, and has been diagnosed with early signs of dementia. Dorothy regularly measures her weight, blood pressure, glucose levels, and wears a wristband which tracks her exercise activity throughout the day. Today in the morning, Dorothy is coming down the stairs when suddenly she trips and falls. After a couple of minutes, she realizes what happened but is confused and scared because she can feel a bad pain in her leg. She presses the telecare emergency button she's wearing, which immediately initializes a call to the telecare intervention center. On the other side of the line, the call is answered by Samantha. Samantha is a qualified telecare worker who responds to emergency calls at the intervention center. Samantha tries to gather as much verbal information from Dorothy as possible, but Dorothy is disoriented and unable to give any meaningful details about the accident. Fortunately, Samantha can see a dashboard that tracks information about Dorothy's health and her environment. Dorothy appears to have walked normally today, and there are no other indicators to suggest any problems. The accident must have happened not too long ago, and calling for an ambulance is not necessary. Samantha will instead send a home care worker to check it on Dorothy. However, if something serious ever happened, Samantha doesn't even have to wait until a call is made. She can consult the dashboard and immediately spot any problems, thanks to an intuitive system of red, amber, and green indicators available for all registered patients. This way, our solution can be extremely helpful both in situations of a potential emergency and in preventive care. This is a revolutionary approach to telecare, which opens new business opportunities for telecare companies, reduces impact on NHS and public social services, but most of all means that patients and their families can feel safer. From the very beginning, we knew that we were about to handle some very sensitive data, like medical information, so we wanted to make sure our system would be very secure. That's why we chose to build it on top of Microsoft Azure, a platform that is certified by CESG for use across the UK public sector. But we wanted to go even further. All data that we collect and process is stored in Microsoft Health Vault, which is a dedicated platform for storing health and fitness information. Every user owns their personal Health Vault profile, and it's up to them to choose what data they want to share with whom. Choosing Health Vault gave us another great advantage. We could instantly benefit from hundreds of devices that are already supported by the platform. Suddenly, we had access to blood pressure, glucose levels, weight, oxygen saturation, exercise information, and many more. And we extended Health Vault to allow for storing other data types, such as environmental sensor data. We currently support the Nest Thermostat and Nest Protect, which gave us access to quite a few important indicators such as ambient temperature and carbon monoxide levels. A web service at the heart of our system acts as a proxy between Health Vault and the rest of the system. There is a dedicated component that periodically polls activated sensor devices for environmental data and pushes collected information back to Health Vault. We publish two separate REST endpoints, one for accessing data stored in the user profile and one for administration purposes. The Telecare Dashboard app is a JavaScript application that shows a list of patients, along with some basic demographic information. It was designed for use by Telecare staff in the context of an emergency call or for proactive monitoring. Clicking on a patient's name opens a dashboard where all critical indicators are clearly visualized. We've also implemented a system of alerts that warn the user when one of the values falls outside of a safe threshold. The administration app is also a JavaScript application that is intended for use by Telecare administration staff. It allows for registering new patients, facilitates the process of connecting with their HealthVault profiles, and exposes a user interface for authorizing access to environmental sensors. We have managed to build a system that can be very easily extended to support many more devices and data types. For anyone interested, we have great developer documentation on our website. Such a complex system that makes use of so many external APIs needs to be thoroughly tested. We started with building small standalone components. Each of them was designed to test a different element of the system. When working with HealthVault, we used a special pre-production environment that allowed us to quickly deploy and debug subsequent iterations of our project. Nest devices were simulated with dedicated developer tools supplied by the vendor. We continuously tested our internal API endpoints with automated HTTP requests. A set of unit tests was deployed to assist us in delivering quality code. We decided to adopt very strict policies for our JavaScript code and used automated tools that even enforced our chosen coding convention in order to detect as many errors and potential problems as possible. Finally, we conducted tests of the whole integrated system to ensure that collected data was properly propagated all the way through the user-facing apps. This is our Telecare Dashboard app. On the main screen, you can see the list of all clients with some basic demographic information like date of birth and age. On the top of the screen, you can find our search bar, where you can find the desired client by either entering his first or last name. When you choose the client you need by clicking his name, you are presented with the information gathered from the health tracking devices. On the top, you can find 3 tabs. The first one for health tracking devices, the second one for environmental sensor readings, and the third one for valuable information about the client's conditions, allergies, and medication intake. When some of the measurements are out of the safe threshold, they are colored in red, making it easy to spot at first glance. Also, you can see on the top right corner of every measurement the last update date. Clicking on any measurement takes you to the detailed information from the last week with a graph. If you want to go back to all of the measurements, you can just click on the back button. If you want to search for other clients or choose one from the list, you can just click on the search bar again and start typing or select one. This is our administration app. On the main screen, you can see a list of all enrolled participants and some information about them, like date of birth, gender, enrollment date, and an icon showing if the participant has given us permissions to use information from his HealthVault account. On the top, you can find a search bar and an option to sort participants with the criteria being the activation status of their account. On the top right corner, you can see the button that leads to registering a new participant. Here, you can just fill all the details and click Next. On the next screen, we see a summary of the registration and the next steps you need to take, them being following the link and entering the activation code given here to complete the registration. Clicking on the Edit button gives you the option to change the participant's information or delete one. The last button is Manage Devices. This gives you the option to connect with your Nest device. Here you can see there has already been authorization and the status is connected. If you want to authorize another account, you can just click the button Authorize. That redirects you to the next page where you can review what information we want to take and decide to give us permissions to use it, and click Continue. Then you can just log in and complete the authorization process.